Friends, welcome back. Today's topic is, what should you be afraid of today? I've got my good buddy here, Mike Sterling, and he is an expert of all things that go boom, and I figured he'd be the perfect guy to talk to about this subject. And I want to know, why should we be afraid of nerve gas?
Nerve gas.
Talk to me.
Okay, so we're going to do the nightmare fuel talk.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, talk to me about nerve gas. First, I want to know what nerve gas does to the human body. Talk to me.
So I've handled this stuff quite a few times. I was as an EOD tech, I also cross-trained as a technical escort specialist.
Okay.
So I actually got to mess with this stuff. And yes, there was plenty of it laying around in Iraq.
Gosh.
There actually was. So yeah, let's just go ahead and get that there. All right. So nerve gas. Nerve gas was basically stumbled upon by the Nazis back in the very early 40s when they were trying to invent these wonderful things called insecticides.
Insecticides, friends.
Right. So,
Okay.
So what you've got is it's called an acetylcholinesterase inhibitor. So acetylcholinesterase is the little chemical that it manages the little switches in your nervous system, and it tells them, go left, go right,
Yep.
things like that, open, closed.
Yep.
Right. And what this will do is it will make those switches just go haywire
Yep.
all through your body
All lighting up.
at one time,
Yeah.
to include the ones that send the little messages from your brain to things like, I don't know, your heart saying beat, or your lungs expand, contract.
And this is how it kills bugs.
And this is how it kills bugs, but it also kills people. So insecticide is still a nerve agent. It's just a exceedingly diluted nerve
So
agent.
like your bug spray, your typical bug spray, Wasp killer, whatever it is.
exact same
same thing as nerve gas. It's just diluted.
It's just really, really, really diluted.
And
yes.
the wasps fall on the ground, they twitch a little bit, and then they're done. Yep. And that's what would happen essentially to a human being if you were exposed to high volumes of nerve gas.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, not even high volumes. All it really takes is a drip.
A drip of nerve gas.
So,
Okay. All right.
if you go to the rooms, especially for like the special operations medics and stuff, they will have a goat, and the goat, they will literally take one small tiny drop and they'll put it on the goat's nose, and the goat will just, it looks like the fainting goat, and just and then falls over and stuff, and then you have to administer the antidotes
Right.
to it.
So there's an antidote.
Yes, there is antidotes.
Okay, so fear not, friends. There is an antidote to nerve gas.
And you do not need to jam it directly into your heart like, Nicolas Cage had to do. That's entirely wrong. Yeah, you just got to get it. You just got to get it into your system.
Okay, so nerve gas has been around since World War II.
World War II
World War II was not used in World War II,
was not,
but has been used since.
it has.
It is essentially the same thing as bug spray, just in a more concentrated dosage.
Right.
And it affects it would affect a human being's nervous system to the point where your heart would essentially stop beating.
Yeah. Well, your lungs stop working long before that. But
Lungs
yes.
stop working.
Yeah.
You asphyxiate, die heart attack, perhaps.
Yeah.
If you're lucky.
Yeah, if you're lucky.
Okay, that's fantastic. So that's terrifying.
It's a bad way to die. I can tell you that.
And so this is not a well kept secret recipe. Like it's
No.
very well known, exactly what's in it, how it works.
Right there on the interwebs, man.
Right. So you can make large quantities of this very easily, essentially.
Yeah. Now, of course, the people that watch those precursor chemicals, they're going to show up at your house long before you've gotten enough of it together.
Right.
Matter of fact, they may come dressed as a UPS driver. I'm just saying.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So let's say, for fear's sake, if I was going to be afraid of nerve gas today, which I am, how would a bad guy administer nerve gas to a populace?
So a lot of the time, you're going to want to disseminate it into a cloud. So your non-persistent nerve agents like sarin, they are a very thin liquid very similar to gasoline, both in a lot of its properties. So it has it's very volatile.
It vaporizes.
It vaporizes
really fast.
Gases really, really fast. But that's the good thing about it. Okay. It's there, it's gone with very, very limited residue.
The wind takes it away, disperses it.
Not even that. And sunlight is its absolute enemy. 100%. So the old Soviet doctrine for the use of sarin was you would only use it at night or early in the morning.
Okay. So
then as soon as the sun came out, woof, it'd be gone. You could roll into the area, no problem.
Got it.
Yeah. It's maybe on the outside 30 minutes. Now you really can't use it very well in like freezing conditions because the stuff does freeze.
Okay.
It doesn't work very well for that. There's different things for that.
Got it.
But
that's next episode of what we should be
right, exactly. Yeah, we'll mess with that at a different time after we deal with something like the yellow rain.
Okay.
But
yellow rain.
Yeah. So what they'll do is they'll distribute it over an area either with a sprayer or a small explosive rupture charge, things like that, and it'll get out there, just the vapors into your system. And you can breathe it in, you can get it in through your mucous membranes, or there's also a cutaneous hazard, right? So it gets on your skin. Done and done, kids. You are bit, 100%. If you have the antidote kits, the nerve agent antidote kits, you got about, if you're bit and bit good, you got 3, maybe 4 minutes to administer yourself an antidote. Because the system's going haywire.
And you won't be able to do that yourself because you're going to... Yeah. You think you could
in
that amount of time.
So in the military, we always carried a set of nerve agent antidote kits in our mask. And again, you breathing it, getting it on your skin, getting it into your mucous membranes, it goes in any of these methodologies.
Right.
So as soon as you start seeing symptoms, you got to get that going. You got to get the auto injector into yourself, right? And it's atropine and 2-PAM chloride are the two primary chemicals, right? The problem with the atropine is the atropine runs your heart rate up so much that once you get yourself 3 full injections, you have a pretty good chance of your heart exploding. So,
so thankfully you're not dying of the nerve gas. You're dying of a heart explosion.
Well, the point is at that point you're gonna make it, right? You're gonna get through it. But at that point, there's also a 4th injector that you need to give yourself to keep your heart from frigging going bang in your chest.
The side effects of the antidote.
Yeah, and it's basically an opioid.
Wow.
That will really mellow you out quite a bit. You ain't gonna be worth a hill of beans. For about 48 hours after you get yourself up with that. Yeah, you're in pretty bad shape.
All that sounds terrible.
Oh, none of it is good. There's no upside to the whole thing.
Okay, so if you're exposed to a potent level of nerve gas, how long till you kaput? Typically.
Again, there's a couple of variables. Your metabolism is a variable. The current temperature is a variable. Your age is a variable. So if you get these into your system, usually once you've been exposed, maybe 5 to 10 minutes on the outside.
Okay.
Right. And it'll be 3 or 4 minutes before you start seeing symptoms.
Like involuntary movements, spasms,
yeah,
you're gonna difficult breathing.
Yeah. So what's going to wind up happening is the little switches in your nerve system are going to start misfiring, and so your brain says, okay, I want you. Oh my God, we're in trouble. We have to get up and we have to run
away.
And this happens instead. Yeah, your arms start moving, right? Because all the signals are being routed to random places.
That's terrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
what a horrible thing that man has devised to kill each other.
Hey, we're good at it.
Gosh, it's awful.
We've got several.
Shooting each other is not good enough.
No.
I want you to go into involuntary spasms until eventually your heart explodes.
Well, we are Germans. We must have a very efficient method.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
All right. What were you telling me earlier about the Italians? That wasn't nerve gas, though.
That was World War I. So a lot of the deployment of a lot of this stuff has to do a huge thing has to do with 1, temperature,
right,
and 2, wind direction.
Wind direction.
Right? So if you plop it out downwind from me and it blows away from me, I really don't care.
It's not going to work.
It's not really going to work. And the Italians had huge problems. And as a matter of fact, the jihadis in Baghdad tried to do the exact same thing on us. They kept on trying to deploy chlorine gas. And small problem, they hadn't quite figured out the whole wind direction thing.
Oh, wind is...
So all of a sudden, for us, Baghdad started smelling like the locker room in a YMCA, and yeah, it just blew all this big green cloud away from us.
Wow!
And we were like, smells weird, but kind of clean for a change.
Yeah.
And yeah, the Italians kept on having the same problem. They would deploy chlorine gas in the First World War, and it would blow right back into their faces.
Because they were on a schedule. They were like, at 9 o'clock, we're deploying this bomb. The chlorine bomb.
Exactly. We're going to deploy all this chlorine gas.
But sir, the wind is... Shut up.
Don't bother me with trivial details of wind.
Get back where you belong.
Right? Oh,
we're
yeah.
doing it at 9.
They weren't, yeah. Hey, we're doing it live.
All right. Okay, so to sum this up, nerve gas is terrible. It's a pretty horrible way to go. Wind dependent, obviously. Probably going to get flagged if you try to acquire the materials.
Pretty well guarantee it.
Okay. So in reality, is this something that we should be concerned about at all?
God, no.
Okay, cool.
Because I go back to the lesson from the 13th Warrior.
Yeah.
Fear profits a man nothing.
Right.
Hide your head in a hole if you like. You won't live 1 second longer. Wow. Why worry about these things?
Why worry what you can't control? Control the
exactly.
controllable. That's what I'm always saying. Control
Yeah.
the controllable. Be as prepared as possible for the most likely events in your area.
Right.
Is nerve gas the most likely event in your area?
Absolutely not.
But it's fun to talk about.
It's fun to talk about. But, the big thing is that I always tell my students is, look, nobody's going to use a war agent on you, especially not here in the United States. Yeah. Nobody's going to drop yellow rain. Nobody's going to drop sarin. None of those things are going to happen. What you should worry about, right? What is a possibility? You really shouldn't worry about it because you can't control it. But what you should be cognizant of, hey, we've got big hazmat shipments on rail cars driving all through the country all the time.
Yeah.
Look at Ohio.
Chemical spills.
Look at what happened there.
Yeah.
That's more likely than anything else from this point of view. Do you know what's out there? No. Is your surplus Czechoslovakian gas mask with a filter that's also 40 years old, that's not been kept in a proper environment, going to protect you? Absolutely not. Mm-hmm. The problem is, one gas mask filter does not handle
all
everything.
Things.
It doesn't. There are literally, go to the MSA website. Mm-hmm. MSA produces immense quantities of filters. Go there and look at the sheer volume of filters that are specifically designed for specific agents.
Right.
And there's a lot of these things that, do you have enough oxygen in your environment?
Right.
Is it going to leave oxygen in the environment?
Yeah. Could you even breathe with the mask?
Right. Yeah. Is the mask going to protect you? Or, like nerve gas, are you going to need to wear a suit too?
Because if it gets on your skin.
Right,
yeah.
because it's a cutaneous hazard or it's a mucous membrane hazard or anything like that.
Right.
Yeah, the mask isn't necessarily it's not going to cut it. It'll handle some things, but not everything.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate your expertise. I appreciate you telling us about what we should be afraid of today. Thanks for watching, friends. On the next episode of What You Should Be Afraid Of, what will we talk about? Aliens?
Giant chickens.
Oh, freaking A, man. Yeah, so the chickens were up in the woods early this morning creeping around, and can you imagine a chicken that was like 6 feet tall? Terrifying. Thanks for watching. Hit the thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't done so already. Share the video. I'd be really grateful for each and every single one of those. And until next time, what's the worst that could happen?
Oh, the world ends.
Let's just go on 3.